Good morning and welcome to Frontiers of Knowledge segment of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. We have been hearing all the time that the microplastics are invading the oceans. But can you believe that the recent research has seen that even the breast milk which the moms give to the newly born kids, right from the human breast, also has microplastics. For the first time, they have been discovered in human breast milk, and the experts are concerned about the potential implications for the infant's health. A team of the Italian scientists analyzed breast milk samples, and all these samples were taken exactly 1 week after they gave birth to a child. 34 healthy mothers. And all of them, all the samples, showed clear evidence of the presence of microplastics. It's a very troubling thing. You see, microplastics were found in 75% density in practically all of them. And it's a latest discovery in the long disturbance string of the microplastics revelations. When we heard that the microplastics are invading the oceans, the concern was what happens to the marine life, what happens to the fish which the human beings take. But if the microplastics are in the human body already itself, and then after this, they conducted some postmortem that it was found that the human lung tissues and the bloods also in many cases had the microplastics. Till now, the medical science has not revealed the presence of the microplastics in the human body. And that's why this is all the more amazing. Curiously, no correlation has been found between the lifestyle choice and the prevalence of the milk-borne plastics. So it concerns the people because it confirms the idea that the human exposure is inevitable. As a matter of fact, the same team of the researchers confirmed 2 years back that microplastics have made their way into human placentas, and the babies were born with microplastics inside them. Now their vulnerability to the chemical toxins and exposure is yet to be determined, but by itself, this is really very disturbing news. Because we have already seen that the bottled formula milk contains very high microplastic counts. So if human breast milk also has it, then it's a matter of concern. The second disturbing news was the social media is very strongly linked to depression. Now I'm using social media, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Rumble. But the evidence is there that using it can make you depressed. However, there is a clear indication that how you use it is important. The new education of the public policy revealed that the young adults especially, across multiple personality types, who begin using social media for more than 7 hours per day, and that's a long time for staring at a screen, but not a typical in our plugged world. With the cell phones in our hand, we are all the time looking at what's happening. And these young kids develop depression within 6 months of such elevated use. Now, at the heart of this disturbing news is a study by the researchers at the University of Arkansas University of Alabama, and the Oregon State University. These three universities combined their resources to conduct this research. And the concept was problematic social comparison. In layman's terms, what's the crappy feeling you get when you look up at other people's glamorous lives and feels like yours is not living up? I've seen people put up absolutely meaningless posts on the Facebook, on the Twitter. I went there and we had this. My wife purchased this. My husband purchased this. This is my new house. And what happens? A have-not, when he looks at these things, he has heartburn, jealousy, and a sense of inferiority complex, resulting in depression. A girl sees a glamorous girl, and she says, well, I went to France and bought a 12 lakh worth of handbag. Or these actresses, when they show off their clothes, their ornaments, their handbags, expensive, all of them. Then that causes jealousy, a sense of, why not me? And that causes depression. So that's what I said, how you use it. If you use it to communicate, fine. But if you use it to edify your unrequired needs, then it's harmful. Now, this phenomena enhances negative feelings of oneself in the people who are easily amenable to such impacts and others. And that explains how the risk of depression increases with the increased social media force. Engaging primarily in negative content can also enhance those feelings. You know, even that thing, I mean, say, one gentleman, for example, would say, well, I'm having lunch outside in so-and-so hotel with my wife. Fine. So you are having lunch, so what? And then they display the table laid out beautifully. But what message does it convey? To the uninitiated, heartburn. So, secondly, social media usage tends to isolate people because the opportunity for in-person interaction and the activities outside the home are reduced. COVID was responsible for a great extent during the lockdown. In-person interaction is being reduced, and I've seen husband, wife, siblings, two very close friends sitting at in a restaurant having food, and both are busy with their phones. So what does that show? That only shows that they have no interest in their partner, but more interest in watching silly comments which have no meaning. If that was enough, these two news were enough to disturb, the third comes still worsening the mood, and that is the use of the steroids. Doctors mostly prescribe steroids, and especially in countries like India, they are available across the table. You can go to any pharmacy, any drugstore, and get the prednisone without even doctor's prescription. And several new studies appear and confirm that steroids are absolutely terrible, especially for the brain health. Now, steroids are used for two purposes. One, they are used for conditions which are life-taking like asthma and allergies. Secondly, athletes and players use them for bodybuilding. And both the uses are extremely, extremely harmful. It doesn't feel terribly far-fetched that the athlete favored anabolic androgenic steroids their use of muscle building, enhance the athlete's performance, but they also result in the anger issues. And that's why you might have seen the wrestlers and martial law fighters, they are, their anger is at the bursting point all the time because they are basically just synthetic testosterone bombs ready to explode. They are like terrorists with a live bombs and live grenades. Just take the pain out and they'll explode. And steroids in general for medical purposes have a noted history of neuropsychiatric side effects. The range of the cognitive and behavioral problems linked to both anabolic, androgenic, and prescribed glucocorticoid counterparts is shockingly extensive. Neuropsychiatric linked to two different types of steroids, bodybuilding and anti-inflammatory prescription ones. Both are extremely harmful. The former, which are given for building the body, are strongly connected to low empathy, violence, and impulsive decision making. One study was reported in Journal of Scientific Reports. They said that over 692 male bodybuilders, an average age of 22, those with a history of steroid abuse were more than twice likely to engage in behavior which is psychopathic. They were also more likely to engage in risk-taking behavior related to substance abuse and a whole lot of rage issues. Importantly, this was just a behavioral study. But it's a pointer to the fact that the brain is not in your control. And the long-term consumption of anti-inflammatory cortisones and steroids is known for, as I said, causing anxiety, depression, and even delirium. This is not a news. The medical establishment knows that, and still they are prescribing the steroids. As a matter of fact, we should be banned. But who will ban them? Our politicians exist on the payouts by the pharmaceuticals, whatever the side effects may be. And those who perform the above aforementioned bodybuilding have established, and these studies have been published, as I said, scientific reports and even in the British Medical Journal. And now the third one. There has been a lot of emphasis on LED bulbs. Low energy efficient bulbs, they are LED bulbs. And they are equally harmful. We have all heard the woes of the blue light. Don't look at the phone. That's going to cause you a problem. And it does. Because it makes you harder for sleep. But the problem extends far beyond the personal beauty sleep to a much larger environmental scale. Studying the spectral composition of the continent's lightning using images from International Space Station, we know that LED bulbs are replacing the old school sodium lights for outdoor use in Europe. And the result is terrible. Focusing on suppression of melatonin, which disturbs the sleep, and there's a hormone which regulates sleep cycles, star visibility, and insects' response to the light. Researchers have found that all categories, whether they are stars, whether they are birds, whether there is vegetation or human beings, they are affected by these LED bulbs. And the level of melatonin suppression in humans makes them immune to several diseases, including sleep apnea. The insects' response to the light has been that they have gone erratic, and the trend is widely increasing. And as I said, even vegetation, the whole ecosystem is suffering. Indeed, the blue light is widely suspected to suppress the body's production of melatonin. And what are the benefits? It does provide technology for public lighting, street lighting. But is that enough to cover the cost of the human misery? It's like if you stick with the old, yellower, warmer lights, you can better illuminate the night without disturbing the local environment. So, was this policy of using LEDs and replacing the sodium lamps harmful? Definitely so. These four latest pieces of information show that all progress is not always welcome. It can be dangerous to the human brain, to the ecosystem, to the human life, and even to the celestial bodies. Really, what man is making of man is $1 million question. Thank you.